LOC or put me on. I got a ball on the brick like a brawn. I need 50, 100 on walls, flex on the beat.
Right now, let us start with the first in the lineup, which is the Ime Udoka suspension. Now, something happened. At first, the news broke on Wednesday that the Boston Celtics coach Ime Udoka could be suspended for the entire season. That was when we first got the gist, and it was like the reason was because he had consensual relationship with a member of staff of the Celtics, and this is coming against the rules and regulation of the Boston Celtics. The NBA actually frowned at such act. Boston also frowned at such act, with journalists also some journalists frowning at such act coming from Ime Udoka. Let me ask the real bucket, Anthony, what do you think about the suspension given to Ime Udoka? Do you think that is actually deserved?
Yeah, obviously I feel the suspension is quite too much, you understand, because what he did is actually very wrong, you understand. But Ime Udoka didn't actually break an NBA rule, he just broke like the Boston Celtics rule. But after coming up from, let me say, they went to the NBA finals and this stuff just came up and you're trying to suspend him for the whole season, I just feel that he should have been fined or maybe suspended for like few games, more like 10 to 15 games. But suspending him for the whole season, it takes a lot, and I feel it's going to bring division into the team.
It's going to bring division into the team.
Yeah.
Now, talking about breaking a Boston Celtics rules and not the NBA rules, let me ask you a question on that. You mentioned something that, okay, now if this is just a Boston Celtics rules, why not Boston Celtics try to ensure that, oh, this is our rule, we can just see how we can ensure Ime Udoka doesn't miss the entire season?
Obviously, I feel that normally they would have hidden it from the public, you understand, because till now they have not still given us the full story. But everyone are talking about, and a former NBA player, Bandz, came up and said he deleted an Instagram post because of he got the real gist. But I'm just trying to say, everybody that I know, if you're trying to focus on the moral story about what Ime Udoka did, it's going to bring about a lot of narratives, and this is not going to end. This discussion is not going to end. But we are actually looking at the fine, you understand, and Boston Celtics really bringing out, you understand, giving him up to a season suspension is really hard to take.
I mean, that's actually hard to take. I mean, that's what Anthony thinks on that particular side. But let's talk about, maybe there's been similar situations before, Anthony. Looking at teams like Miami Heat. I know you're a big fan of Miami Heat. I want to talk about, because you mentioned to me earlier that Kenny, the same thing happened to Miami Heat. I mean, a player from Miami Heat. Who is that player?
Obviously Jimmy Butler. I feel back then in 2020 in the bubble, Jimmy Butler actually had some allegations, you understand, being able to had something going on with the reporter, but Miami Heat were able to deny it, you understand, and were able to cover it from the media, you understand, and that was what I felt that the Boston Celtics were meant to do, because this is just an internal thing, you understand. They were meant to find a way to manage it because they just came up from a good season, and bringing this thing out, I think it's going to really destroy the upcoming season. And obviously, few months ago, they actually brought out to the media that they wanted to trade Jaylen Brown, and you obviously know what it cost, and now they're coming out with another one. So I feel like this season they're really entering is really going to be a big one.
I mean, it's going to be a big season for the Boston Celtics. And another thing to look at is a lot of people have said, okay, it's because he's a black man. People feel the city of Massachusetts are filled with racism and all of that. But looking at what happened, I think that was 2 weeks ago, when Rob Salva, that is a majority owner of the Phoenix Suns, actually was, charged with some terrible acts. I mean, that was so terrible. Many people feel like, oh, the NBA acted slow on Rob Salva's situation, that it should have been the fine should have been way more than that. That was until Braun and Chris Paul spoke on this situation. But do you think still about Ime Udoka being a black man, that's why it's being treated that way?
Yeah, obviously it comes into that 70-30, you understand, because of Boston Celtics. They are always they are being known for their racism, you understand. Even the late Bill Russell, when they retired his number, he said that he's not going to come to the court, you understand. Obviously he want to start on when they should retire his number, you understand. And coming from the Suns owner, you understand, the NBA would have kicked him out of the league, but instead they gave him a fine, you understand? And then when it comes to Ime Udoka situation, they decided to suspend him. And this is not actually an NBA kind of something. This was actually a Boston Celtics.
Celtics, not even the NBA, just the club.
Yeah, I just feel like Ime Udoka should have been fined, you understand, and obviously be suspended for fewer games than suspending him for the whole season.
And since it's consensual, I think, okay, this is something that both parties are aware of, and it's not that it was something else that Boston Celtics should have handled out in a better way. And, well, talking about the video that was published by NBA analyst, I'm talking about Bandz, because a day before, he said something supporting Ime Udoka. Then a day after, he deleted that post that he was supporting Ime Udoka, saying that he was told what happened, that it is actually more than what we think. So that means he's actually going to say he's going to say nothing about whatever has happened, but it is actually more than what we actually think, or what we see in the media, or what we read, on some of these athletes. But Bandz coming out to say, I mean, he deleted the post. So don't you think that's been dramatic?
I just feel like at this kind of moment, some people will love. I obviously call it cloud chasing. You understand? Cloud chasing. Like everybody are telling me Bandz. I'm like, come on, yeah, Bandz can obviously use that because tomorrow Damon Green can come up on his podcast. You understand? Iguodala can come up on his podcast and you understand, say something about it. But we're still waiting for the Boston Celtics to actually bring out what really happened.
Okay.
You understand? Then we can all push our narratives. You understand? Not like someone saying that, oh, I got a call from someone close. No. The Boston Celtics have to really come out and tell us what happened so that we can say.
And anybody can call anybody.
Yeah, obviously today now I can actually come out and say, yeah, I got someone from the Miami Heat that actually told me what happened. You understand? And make people believe that this will happen.
You don't want to do that. Right? You don't want to do that. I mean, it's getting interesting in the studios of Impact Africa Television, and the program is a Ball Chat with Kenny. Right now, we're taking a microscopic look into the suspension given to that man. I'm talking about the coach of Boston Celtics, who is going to miss the entire season. That is no other than Ime Udoka. Said something when you're actually doing well, that's when things people try to bring you down. Do you think that's what is happening to Ime Udoka?
What I'm feeling, what I'm trying to say is just that if Ime Udoka didn't reach the finals, due to this story would have just been a normal story and be swept under the carpet. You understand? Nobody would take it serious. But because he reached the NBA finals, now everybody are on top of the case. So I'm saying, imagine Ime Udoka didn't reach the NBA finals or he didn't even get to the conference finals. Will this story actually be the same that we're actually talking about?
Maybe the wouldn't have been up to the season.
The story wouldn't have even come out. They would have just, sacked him. You understand? It's because of he went to the NBA finals that obviously I feel like they're still keeping him on the team. You understand? And obviously I feel like, okay, that's the reason why the Boston Celtics still want to give him a chance after this season.
Okay, now let's actually talk about this because it's going to affect the Boston Celtics in one way or the other, and it probably is going to affect how they start the new NBA season. Now, Bucket, talking to you right now, let us look at how this would affect the Boston Celtics season. You mentioned the fact that Jaylen Brown contract situation staying with the Boston Celtics earlier, and this team got to the finals of the NBA. Are losing to the Golden State Warriors. Now they want to go one better, which is getting the ring. Right now, with the way events are unfolding at the city of Boston, do you think they can actually get this done?
Obviously, I feel like in the offseason they got a real point, like a good point guard, Malcolm Brogdon, you understand, and obviously having Jaylen Brown, a consistent player that actually saved Jason Tatum back then in the finals. You understand? I feel that their team.
Brown saved Tatum in the finals.
Yeah, obviously we know. Yeah, like in the finals in game 6 that Tatum wore Kobe's handband just to drop 13 points. Like obviously, if I was the one that wore Kobe's handband, come on, I should be dropping 30 points. You understand? But checking Jaylen Brown through the whole playoffs and getting to the finals, she was able
I think you actually have a point because Tatum turned off straight up.
Yeah, you understand. And obviously having Horford, you understand, the big center, and obviously having Robert Williams. But Robert Williams is obviously going to miss 8 to 12 weeks because he had a surgery on his knee. So having those kind of pieces around you, I feel like they should be able to make it to the playoffs and obviously go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, obviously.
But don't you think that's going to be below what they did last year? In the Eastern Conference Finals, they got to the finals. Stopping at the Eastern Conference Finals wouldn't be too cool for the Celtics.
I feel the reason why they were able to get to the finals, number one, is because of Giannis was without his Robin, and when I talk about his Robin, he was without Middleton. You understand? And Giannis being able to take them to Game 7, you should know how good Giannis is. You understand? And obviously,
and even Brook Lopez was missing.
Yeah, come on. So I think Celtics were able to escape that. And coming to the Miami Heat, we all know that the reason why they made it to the finals was because of Mark Struess 3 points got, you understand, counted because they said his leg was on the line. And obviously they did the review after the game and they saw that his 3 points should have counted. You understand?
But
So
it's the same way Bucks got to the finals of the NBA 2 seasons ago, when KD's big shoe was on the line.
yeah, man, that's KD, man. It happens, you understand. But what I'm trying to say is just that the Boston Celtics have those players that can obviously get them to the Eastern Conference Finals next season.
Okay, Boston Celtics has got the players that will take them to the Eastern Conference Finals next. And that is coming from the basketball scout I have with me in the studios. That is Anthony Inkemp, well known as Therealbuckets. In case you're just joining, you are watching Ball Chat with Kenny on Impact Africa Television. This is one of the best basketball shows definitely in the country, where we talk about everything basketball, from the local scene to the international scene. Remember, we talked about the Eurobasket a couple of weeks ago. It has concluded. It was that team, Spain, that won that particular one. Today we're talking about, Ime Udoka, and we see some people let's talk about, which is the NBA top 25 players ahead of the new season released by the ESPN.